Congresswoman Ilhan Omar sparking bipartisan backlash for anti-Israel remarks. Omar tweeting, quote, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," suggesting that lawmakers are bribed to support Israel. Our next guest is one of the many calling her out, writing in a new op-ed that Omar's actions are bringing shame to American Muslims. Here to explain is Dr. Quanta Ahmed, member of the Council of Foreign Relations and author of In the Land of Invisible Women. Thank you for being with us. Why do you say that in your op-ed?
She's proving to be an enormous liability to America's Muslims. In her remarks, she's branded every Muslim in America as an anti-Semite. And this is absolutely unacceptable and un-Islamic. She's shown a degree of insolence, arrogance, and casual familiarity with anti-Semitic expressions and beliefs for years, going back to tweets in 2012. The Jewish community in Minnesota approached her to try and see where these ideas were coming from and help her understand. And it's a disgrace. And to single out AIPAC, by the way, I'm not paid by AIPAC, I have no relationship with them. She fails to mention that Muslim nations, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, spend orders of magnitude, tens of millions of dollars more on lobbying than AIPAC does. So there's an incredible bias that's disturbing and to me speaks of Islamist anti-Semitism.
Should she be penalized? Some are even calling for her to step down.
Eject her from the House of Foreign Affairs Committee immediately. The Democratic Party has no justification for keeping her there. Anything she's proposing is now going to be interpreted through the lens of anti-Semitism. We also are very concerned, I am, that she's affiliated with the boycott, divestment, sanction movement, which is legitimizing and normalizing anti-Semitism. It's a movement that calls for the eradication of the state of Israel, which is unacceptable. It's disguised as a human rights movement, but it's actually anti-Semitism. And that's the new anti-Semitism. It's infecting Islam. There's an op-ed in the Washington Post about it by a colleague. Anti-Semitism is carried now through Islam, whether Muslims like it or not, and that is antithetical to Islamic belief. But she embodies that, and America's Muslims must reject it.
So this was her apology. "My intention is never to offend my constituents or Jewish Americans as a whole. At the same time, I reaffirm the problematic role of lobbyists in our politics, whether it be the AIPAC or the NRA or the fossil fuel industry." Is that satisfactory to you?
So that rings hollow to me. There's no justification ever for anti-Semitic speech. It's not only hate speech, it is genocidal speech. Anti-Semitism is the only vilification and prejudice of a people that leads directly to genocide. So it's unacceptable. Secondly, about lobbying, welcome to liberal democracy. This is America. We get to lobby our government in any number of interests with any means that the citizens want. So if she doesn't accept that, she doesn't want to participate in the vibrant democracy that America is.
If this is really, if she has this much hate in her heart for the Jewish people, where does that come from? What is her background? Why would she believe that?
So certainly it does not come from Islam, which teaches us to treasure and revere the Torah, Moses, just as it does Jesus and the Bible. It's not coming from Islam. This is de novo. This is a 20th century construction that has been adopted in the modern Arab world and is rife amongst Muslims who don't have critical thinking and who see maybe the success of Israel or maybe the intelligence of the Jewish community with resentment and with animus. And I don't accept that it's a means to advocate for the Palestinian people either. The Palestinian people need advocates. They have advocates, just as the Jewish people do too. And there are many more besieged Muslim populations in the world than the Palestinians. The Rohingyas, the Uyghurs are facing literal genocides at the moment. So it is absolute hypocrisy. The other thing that I think prevents Americans from understanding this, and particularly the Democratic Party, there are enormous fears that saying these things is somehow Islamophobic. So to all the viewers and listeners, criticizing the endorsement of anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-Zionist speech by a Muslim is not Islamophobia. That is a false construct that just prefers Islamism and denies us to look at the truth.
Dr. Ahmed, thank you so much for being with us.